In the heart of a bustling modern city, nestled among towering skyscrapers and busy streets, stood Westwood Manor, an imposing, century-old mansion with a dark and chilling history. The city had grown around it, but the mansion remained untouched, a silent sentinel of the past. When the Turner family decided to rent the mansion for a weekend getaway, they had no idea they were stepping into a nightmare they could never escape. The Turner family consisted of Sarah, the mother, who was an architect with a fascination for historical buildings, John, the father, a pragmatic businessman, and their two children, Emma and Ethan, who were excited about the adventure of staying in such a grand old house. As the family arrived at Westwood Manor, the grandeur of the place took their breath away. Its sprawling gardens and towering oak trees gave the mansion an air of elegance and mystery. The Turner children ran ahead, eager to explore every nook and cranny of their temporary home. The first night in the mansion was uneventful. The family enjoyed a pleasant dinner in the dining hall, regaling each other with tales of the mansion's history. Sarah explained that Westwood Manor had once been the residence of a wealthy industrialist and his family, but a series of tragic events had shrouded the place in legend. The following morning, the Turner family began to experience strange occurrences. It started with faint whispers in the hallway, voices that seemed to echo from the walls themselves. At first, they dismissed it as their imagination, but the whispers grew louder, more distinct. John decided to investigate, thinking it might be a prank by the children. He followed the whispers to the library, where an old portrait of the mansion's original owner, Elijah Westwood, hung on the wall. The eyes of the portrait seemed to follow him, and a shiver ran down his spine. That evening, as the family gathered for dinner once again, their unease grew. The lights flickered, and the temperature dropped inexplicably. Emma claimed to have seen a shadowy figure in the hallway, but her parents dismissed it as a trick of the light. As the night deepened, the paranormal activity escalated. Doors slammed shut on their own, objects moved mysteriously, and eerie footsteps echoed through the empty halls. Emma and Ethan, unable to sleep, huddled together in fear. Sarah, ever the architect, tried to rationalize the occurrences, suggesting it might be an issue with the old wiring or the house settling. But her attempts to explain away the unsettling events fell flat as they witnessed something truly horrifying, a spectral figure. A woman in a tattered Victorian-era dress, gliding down the grand staircase, her hollow eyes fixed on them. The family was paralyzed with fear as the ghostly apparition approached. It let out a blood-curdling scream that reverberated through the mansion, sending tremors down their spines. Just as suddenly as it had appeared, the ghostly figure dissipated into thin air. Terrified and convinced that the mansion was truly haunted, the Turners decided to leave immediately. They gathered their belongings and rushed out into the night, leaving Westwood Manor behind, but the horrors were far from over. As they drove away from the mansion, a series of chilling events unfolded. Their car radio blared with static, and the headlights flickered, casting eerie shadows on the road. The children claimed to see phantom figures lurking in the rearview mirror, desperate to escape the supernatural terror that pursued them. John drove faster, but the apparitions persisted. The ghostly woman from the mansion appeared on the road ahead, her ghastly form blocking their path. John slammed on the brakes, narrowly avoiding a collision. Panicked and trapped, the family watched as the ghostly figure slowly advanced toward them. It was then that Sarah remembered something from her research about the mansion, the legend of a vengeful spirit, the wife of Elijah Westwood, who had died under mysterious and tragic circumstances. In a moment of desperation, Sarah spoke out loud, addressing the ghostly apparition. "We mean you no harm. We are leaving your home. Please, let us go in peace." The ghostly figure paused, her spectral form wavering. Her mournful eyes met Sarah's, and for a moment, it seemed as though a glimmer of recognition crossed her face. Then, with a heart-wrenching wail, she faded away, leaving the family shaken but unharmed. The Turners drove away from Westwood Manor, their hearts heavy with the weight of the paranormal terror they had witnessed. As they reached the city limits, the atmosphere in the car lightened, and the eerie occurrences ceased. They would never forget their harrowing experience at Westwood Manor, a place where the past bled into the present, and the line between the living and the dead was dangerously thin. The family returned to their ordinary lives, forever changed by the haunting of Westwood Manor. The memory of the vengeful spirit and the malevolent forces that dwelled within the mansion would stay with them, a dark reminder that some mysteries were better left undisturbed, and some houses were not meant to be inhabited by the living.